Congress just clashed over Epstein, Trump, and a document the president calls a forgery. The FBI says there's no list of secret names, yet an alleged fake signature has sparked calls for a probe. So what's real, what's rumor, and why does this story keep coming back? Let's break it down.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Florida is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I begin, I want to caution my colleagues on, one-sided violence in this country. We just heard that there were no riots on the right. We're literally sitting in the building where there was a giant riot by supporters of the president, the right. We also heard that only leftists, have said that Trump is a Nazi. In 2016, the current vice president of the United States said, Trump is either a cynical asshole or he's America's Hitler. And so this is the problem. I don't want to have to say this garbage, but you want me to sit here and get painted with one brush, the whole left. No, there are extremes on the left, and there are extremes on the right. And we collectively should tackle that. But to come here and just look at us and say we all support what's going on in the extremes is why we can't solve anything in this building. Director, let me say first, thank you for being here, and my condolences on the loss of your friend. And I'm happy to hear that you want to do more on the social media platforms. It's crazy what's going on the social media platforms. There are so many conspiracy theories on what's going on with Charlie Kirk. Israel assassinated him, right? There are conspiracy theories about your personal social life all day. It is totally rampant. Big names on the right, Candace Owens, right? Talking about how what's been released as far as the dialogue between the perpetrator and his roommate is manufactured by the FBI, manufactured by the administration. It is totally rampant, allowing foreign governments to just perpetrate these platforms, all of these bots, all of the time to weaponize Americans. You see what's going on here? This is a byproduct of all of that. What's going on in the streets is a byproduct of all of that. What's happening is you see people celebrate Luigi Mangione is a byproduct of all of that. And so if we want to do something, then we should talk about Section 230. We should talk about how we're going to make sure that we don't let foreign governments poison our children's mind. And so I will work with you on that, Director.
I'll work with you on 230 any day.
No problem. So now, that was the good part. I want to take your attention back a second, okay? Breaking news. Kash Patel is nominated to be the FBI director. Dan Bongino is nominated to be the number 2 at the FBI. MAGA celebrates, rejoices, bells are ringing out. The team, Patel, Bongino, that sought out every podcast microphone to talk about the Epstein list. The names are finally going to get released. It begins. They produce white binders. Phase 1 with the podcasters. This is not actually one of them, of course. I made this. Your name's on it, right? And the names are going to come out. Pam Bondi says the list is on her desk. Then a memo comes out all of a sudden and says, there's no list. Oh, no phase 2. Phase 2 binders never happen. You said the conspiracy theories around Epstein just aren't true. They never have been. And yesterday, in an answer to Senator Kennedy, you said the FBI is not in possession of any credible evidence that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone but himself. So according to your testimony yesterday and in this committee, according to the evidence the FBI has, the number of names on the list are 0.
No,
zero.
The index has been released, and the number of people involved in that trafficking operation were charged in 2018.
Other than Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, your testimony in the Senate and here is that according to the evidence you have, the number of other names is 0.
That were charged based on credible evidence.
Well, who are the other names? Give me the other names that weren't charged.
We are not releasing the names of anyone because the Department of Justice never does that of anyone that didn't have any credible information to attack them.
Let me move forward. The president has, you've seen the picture of the woman's body with the writing and the president's signature. The president says that's not his. Okay? President says it's not his. The Republican colleagues say it's not his. The administration say it's not his. Will you be opening up an investigation into the Epstein estate for putting out a fake document with the president's signature linking him to the world's largest pedophile ring? Will you be opening that investigation into that?
On what basis?
On what basis? They literally put out a fake document, according to the president, with a fake signature. It's a forgery of the president of the United States signature. That's the basis.
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay, I look forward to that investigation. Am I over? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate your diligence.
Gentleman's time has expired. Chair.
When you listen closely to that exchange in Congress, you realize it's not just about Epstein, Trump, or one disputed document. It's about how politics, conspiracy, evidence, and public perception collide. On the surface, the congressman is pressing the FBI witness. Is there a list of powerful names tied to Epstein's trafficking? The response is striking. According to the evidence the Bureau has, no other people were charged beyond Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. 0 names. That's the raw testimony. But if we stop there, we miss the deeper lesson. Because here's where the tension lies. Official investigations deal in evidence that can hold up in court. Social media, talk shows, podcasts, they deal in speculation, pattern-seeking, rumor. To the public, we found no credible evidence often sounds like they're covering something up. And that's where conspiracy theories thrive. They feed on the gap between what institutions can legally prove and what people suspect. That's why the idea of a hidden Epstein list never seems to die, no matter how many times officials say they don't have one. Now add the president's claim into the mix. He says an image circulating with his signature is a forgery. To his supporters, that proves the smear machine is working overtime. To critics, it raises the question, why does his name keep getting tied into this story at all? And here's the important part. When the congressman asks the FBI if they'll open a probe into this alleged forgery, the answer is yes. But an investigation doesn't mean guilt. It means the Bureau will test authenticity, check origins, and try to establish facts. That's a crucial distinction viewers need to understand. Too often, we equate "they opened an investigation" with "the allegation must be true." In reality, it simply means the claim crossed the threshold where fact-finders have to look. And what about the larger point raised in the testimony, the role of social media? That might be the most overlooked piece. The congressman actually pointed out how platforms are flooded with conspiracy theories, often amplified by bots and sometimes even foreign actors. That's not paranoia. It's a known reality in modern information warfare. False claims are easier to spread than verified facts, and once they attach themselves to emotionally charged topics like Epstein or presidential misconduct, they take on a life of their own. That's why he mentioned Section 230, the legal shield that governs how platforms moderate or fail to moderate content. Behind the political theater, that's a very real policy debate. Should companies be forced to intervene more aggressively when harmful misinformation spreads? So when we step back, what do we really learn from this exchange? First, the line between evidence and suspicion is often blurred in public debate, and conspiracy thrives in that blur. Second, the credibility of institutions is constantly tested by the way information circulates online, faster than fact-checkers can keep up. And third, hearings like this aren't just about uncovering facts, they're about shaping narratives. Who gets to frame the story, who looks like they're defending truth, and who looks like they're covering up. For viewers, the takeaway is this: don't confuse testimony with rumors, don't mistake investigations for verdicts, and recognize the way our online ecosystem rewards the loudest claim, not the most substantiated fact. If you can keep those distinctions clear, you're already ahead of the game in understanding how power, politics, and public perception intersect. And here's where I want you to engage. Do you think hearings like this actually help us get closer to the truth, or are they just fuel for more speculation? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because that conversation matters. And if you value breakdowns that separate fact from noise, hit the subscribe button and join me for more deep dives like this.